brothers and sisters. Narinig po ba ako? Okay. Okay. So once again, good evening, brothers and sisters. Then human French parents. Welcome po to our 28th day. 28th day na pala. So 28th day the online divine principles series. So to formally begin our lecture for tonight, let us sing our Chunilgok anthem. Please allow me to share my screen. And to lead the opening prayer, may I request Kuya Julius Escleto.
Please join me in prayer. Our loving Heavenly Parent and victorious troopers of heaven, earth, and humankind, good evening. We are so grateful for this evening as we gather together once again for our session with the topic of the value and significance of the blessing. And we have to know the importance of this session because you know that the blessing is so precious for everyone because this is This means rebirth for us to have uh, transformed from this fallen lineage into God's lineage through the removal of our original sin. And uh, it is only our true parents that could have that authority and capacity to remove our original sin. And we have to really understand this lecture this evening with our Ate Dulce that we could also prepare ourselves as we also prepare for the blessing. And we are so grateful for always giving us chances and opportunities that we could hear your words once again and that we could study words. And we have to also practice that in our day-to-day life. And we ask for your presence as we will start with our lecture this evening with this topic of the significance and value of the blessing. Thank you for everything and for all the love and blessings. Like to offer this report. My name and my wife's name, Julius Antamis Cleto Central Blessed Family. Aju.
Aju. Yes, Aju. Thank you so much po, Kuya Julius. Once again, good evening po, brothers and sisters. Ulit, welcome to our 28th day of our Divine Principle series. Then, tonight, while waiting for Tita Dulce to give our lecture, may I call some recap for the last week, last Monday, I mean, last Monday. So, yung hindi po nakapag-reflection ano, last Monday, I would like to call Ati Margie to give short recap.
Hello, good evening ate. Naririnig po.
Yes, lakasan konti.
Thank you. So, good evening, Heavenly Parents. Good evening, elders, brothers and sisters, and also to our lecturer. So, in short recap po, yeah, last Monday, it's all about heavenly tradition po, which is natakil po doon yung importance and significance of every tradition po na binigay po ng True Parents. Especially din po yung deep meaning nun. So, for me po, almost 3 years na po sa movement pero last Monday ko lang po nalaman yung true meaning talaga ng every ano po talaga yung mga tradition ni True Parents. Especially po yung tithes. So, doon ko po nalaman na before ka pala magbigay ng tithes, hindi mo muna siya babawasan kahit piso. Sinsya na po sa process. Inuubo po kasi. Yun po. So, yun. Thankful and grateful ko kasi at the age of 24, siguro noon, na meet ko yung movement. So, grateful po talaga ako kay True Parents. So, yun po.
Yes, thank you so much po, Ate Margie Magsipo, for your short recap. May I request everyone, please open your camera po, especially po, nandito po later on si Tita Dulce. If kaya po na internet, please open your cameras po. Then, next one, um, sino pa yung, may I call Ate Josephine to give some short recap.
Good evening po. Good evening
Mm.
everyone. Um, my reflection po about tradition is yung share ko na lang yung na-experience ko doon sa tradition doon sa HQ nung nag-attend ako ng God's Day. Doon ko nakita yung family, intact sila, masaya, together, sama-sama. At inaano talaga nila yung kahalagahan ng family. And next na attend ko is yung prayer nila ng 12 midnight na tradition. Experience ko din yon. Doon ko nakakita rin yung talagang sinseridad nila kay True Father. And doon naman sa studies ko ng DP sa HQ, doon ko naman na ano yung sa wedding, yung parang may papaloy yata pa sa pet pag yung oras ng wedding. Yun lang yung natandaan ko, no? Sa dami ng ni-lecture. Tapos, ano pa ba? Yung, yung para daw maano yung wedding, para matanggal yung unang papaloy is yung girl, then yung boy. Tapos, naalala ko din is yung pagbaw. Pag lalaki yung pagbabaw is full bow. Pag babae is half bow. And na-recall ko din yung kailangan when it comes to sa pagkain, yung tradition nila is kailangan paunahin yung mga oats. Yun lang. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Ate Josephine, for your heart recap. So, which is true na before we eat talaga we need to offer first our food, especially to the leaders, and because they're the representative of our parents. So, yun siya. Then, last one, um, um, Kuya Vince. Ikaw po ba yung last line na tawag? Kuya Vince, are you there?
Hello po, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Kuya. Welcome.
Narinig po ba?
Yes po.
So, my reflection for the topic last Monday po. I was grateful to learn that that tradition po for the blessing because um, it is a way to prepare po and to ano din po yung prepare and para mabalik tayo sa bottom of God to restore us and separate ourselves from Satan's dominion po. Naalala ko po yung ano, yung unang activity na sinalihan ko, yung family blessing. So, nakita ko yung kung paano yung tradition, paano gawin yung tradition po ng family blessing po, how family blessing is conducted po. And yung ano din po, yung hondoke, basta mag-hondoke po, basta nasa harapan ka po ng altar, hindi po pwedeng ilagay yung ano po, parang ilapat ng pa-straight sa altar yung paa mo kasi parang ano yun, disrespectful yun sa ano, pag ginawa mo yun yung ganong behavior. So dapat naka-ekis yung ano mo, yung mga paa mo pag nagbabasa kayo ng reading the any books, and siguro yun lang po. So thank
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Vince. Yun. Well, in our prayer room, talagang, ano sa what Kuya Vince says, that yung papa natin, hindi pa siya nakadirect po. And then, if you're in the prayer rooms, proper sitting, parang ano siya, Buddha style. Then, yun yung siya, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much po. Actually, yung ano pa natin tonight program po is first, Tita Dulce will give the value and significance of the blessing. Then, like testimony Kuya Julius. Then, lastly, our DP final exam. So, prepare na po ba kayo, brothers and sisters? So, yun. Wala pa si tita. Okay. Before pala, may ano lang po ako. Sino pa po yung hindi um, nakapag-register po ng blessing? Ayun yung blessing festival po. Please be reminded po sa hindi pa po naka-register. Please comment lang po or message me directly. Okay, brothers and sisters. Okay. Okay, Herwin, meron pa ka pa bang some announcement while waiting for Tita Dulce?
Okay, welcome. Tapos na kayo.
So,
Sa Monday na lang. Sino yung nasa YouTube?
Jinggoy at saka Kami, Sister Kami.
Jet, Kamapungan. Parang hindi ko pa nakita si Jet dito ba?
Napakita siya actually but nawala-wala daw yung internet. Mahina. Yan.
Kami mahirap talaga sa iPhone. So, yes, tonight's lecture kasi about the significance and value of the narinig niyo na ba yung lecture na about the blessing? First time.
Please open your camera po.
2 times na si Ate
Minors.
Margie. So, how about yung iba na first time nyo? Or, kasi you will be hearing this one. I don't know if ilang beses ba itong dinidiscuss, ay, lecture niyo. Sa mga seminar pala dati, ay, yeah, you need to do this and first time in February. Kasi ang ano naman natin, ang goal natin dito is we are preparing for the blessing. Of course, for sure, not all of you are ready. That is given na. No one is prepared kung sabihin natin. But if nobody is prepared, hanggang kailan mo dito? Nagsabi na, kung meron na magsabing silang prepared, tapos pag na-match na sila, bigla-bigla silang magsabi na, ay, i-reject nila yung isang tao kasi hindi daw sila prepared. Tingnan mo, naging hindi prepared na dati, pero naging the point here is wala talagang prepared. All of us, like, we are preparing, but not totally kasi nga, we are in the growing process, understanding. But somehow through this lectures of 21 days, I hope you understood sa pamamagitan ng divine principle. Even from the principle itself, we could realize how important is the blessing. From the beginning, yun talaga yung original blueprint. Yung goal talaga niya. Everybody knows about the fall. Understood that one in the divine principle. Understood also the providence of restoration. I hope we naintindihan na rin natin yung heart ni God. So, the question is, are you willing to be much na? Okay, yeah. I hope so. I hope na somehow may insight na kaya about the value of the significance and the value of the blessing through the divine principle. So we've been hearing also from other leaders as well. Hundo kay internal guidance, family service, about how to become an ideal person, how to build a family. We've been hearing this thing. But why why are you ba't hindi pa tayo ready? Yun ang laging tanong. So I guess it's time for us to reflect. Ako na-match na ako eh. How about you guys? So time for you to reflect, guys. No. Have like do you have the heart to accept anybody? To tell you shortly, this is public, right? But anyway, I've been sharing this one before Dita Dulce will come in. So, before ako na-match, ang thinking ko sa mind ko, actually, di ba, ang ang iniisip nila is, sinasabi ng leaders natin is, dapat before, while applying the matching, dapat wala kang nilalagay sa mind mo kung eto dapat yung match ko. Dapat ganito. Gusto ko taga-Amerika, gusto ko taga-ganito. Ayoko ng African, gano'n. Ayan, yan na pala sa tita. So, anyway, excited na sana. Anyway, thank you very much. Anyway, I was thinking about that, but it's kind of different. But you will know more. Sayang. Pasa ko na kate mo na. Thank you. Good evening.
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Herwin. So, just let us recognize the present of our VFD Director, Tita Dulce Buyayo. Good evening po, Tita. Welcome po to our 20 Days Live and Personal Series. So, okay, brothers and sisters, please open your cameras. Let us first take a picture before we proceed to our lectures. Please open your camera po, brothers and sisters. Anna May, Patrick, Christinette, Kuya Randy, Sir Randy, Patrick. Okay. Okay, let's have a picture, brothers and sisters. Smile, small heart, brothers and sisters. Hana, said, small heart, smile. Okay, one more. Okay. Ito. Ibaragi sinang, brothers and sisters. Hana, said, smile. Last one. Vision 2027. Okay, together. Sungni,
Sumi,
sungni,
sumi,
sungni.
sumi.
Yes, thank you so much for your cooperations, brothers and sisters. Just okay, this evening, let us welcome our lecture for tonight. So she will discuss about the significance and value of the blessing. So she's our mother and the BFD director of the Asia Pacific. Let's help me to welcome Tita Dulce Boyayo. Please give a hand, brothers and sisters.
Good evening.
Good evening po.
Nandito na ba lahat?
Good evening po.
O still coming? So I'm going to share my PowerPoint. I'm going to give you the overview of the blessing marriage in our, in our movement, inside our organization. And anyway, the others, the details, I'm just going to give you when you will attend the, blessing seminar. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. Naririnig niyo ba ako?
Yes po, tita.
Sandali ha. Okay, overview of the marriage blessing. I would like to start with Father's words. No, actually, this is not Father's words. All people are fallen due to the original sin, and it is true parents' fundamental mission to save them. The centerpiece of this mission is the providence of the marriage blessing, which eradicates original sin and fallen lineage. The marriage blessing is the ceremony through which the evil lineage stained by Satan is converted to the lineage of goodness rooted in God. It is the important ceremony that restores the order of love with God at the center and eradicates the disordered love engendered by Satan through the fall. The providence of the marriage blessing under the auspices of the two parents is the starting point of realizing the ideal of one family under God. So I'm sure that you are very well aware of this, our blessing, that only through the blessing we can be connected to our beloved two parents, right? And since you are in this workshop, this online divine principle workshop, I'm sure that you can realize deeply, many things about, the value of the blessing, about the value of our life, and who we are, how far we are in understanding and attending to parents. So ano ang meaning and value of the blessing? Originally, if Adam and Eve had reached the perfection stage in the Garden of Eden, they would have received the marriage blessing. However, due to the fall, the marriage blessing centered on God was not realized. Therefore, God had to work through 4,000 years of history to raise up the Israelites to whom he sent the Messiah. No? 2,000 years ago yon, no? Si Jesus sinent for that purpose. He intended to give the marriage blessing at the time of Jesus. But again, the marriage blessing was not realized. Why? Kasi nga, di ba, na-crucify si Jesus Christ. So as the result, the providence of the blessing had to begin anew at the advent of the third Adam. Upon his laying a successful foundation in the nation and world. The marriage blessing of the third Adam was a historic event. From the creation of the world until then, there had never been a time when God's love, life, and lineage were tied together. So when was that? That was 1960, March 16, by the heavenly calendar, when two parents receive the blessing from heavenly parent, and that's the starting point of the blessing na established dito sa earth, and na-multiply until now, around the world, nasa natin, more than millions, 40 millions na nga noon. And now cosmic, every time we have our blessing, cosmic blessing yung inilalagay na lang natin as title. And ito sana yung unang binigay ni God kay Adam and Eve, right? The three great blessings. Kasi ito naman dapat, this is supposed to be the original, path na dapat na nating as human beings na dapat i-fulfill, para ma-fulfill natin yung purpose ng ating creation, purpose natin sa life, right? According to the book of Genesis, after God created heaven and earth, he created ancestors of humanity, Adam, the man, and Eve, the woman. God gave them the three great blessings and simultaneously their own portion of responsibility. This blessing were be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over every living thing in the sea, on the earth, and in the air. And at the same time, God gave the man, the other, and the woman their responsibility, telling them not to eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So yon. At the same time, sinabi yon sa kanila na God, after na binigay niya sa kanya itong three great blessings, sabi nila, don't eat the fruit, for in the day that you will eat of it, you will surely die. So ayan, very clear ito sa kanila. This teaches us that God's purpose was in creating human beings and the universe, and at the same time, it reveals the fundamentals of life. The blessing that they be fruitful means that all humans perfect their ability to love. The second blessing of multiplying life means the mature man and the mature woman should form a relationship of husband and wife and have children and raise them, thus walking the path of parents. It is God's purpose of creation for the husband and the wife leading the family and fulfilling the duties of father and mother to make this world into the blessed land of comfort and riches, thereby establishing the kingdom of heaven on earth. This is from our True Mother's book. So, ayan, ito yung ating dapat na gagawin sa life natin, So, ano ba yung true marriage? True parents said that through the marriage blessing, we need to establish the traditions of true husband and wife. True parents, through children, through siblings, with true love at the center. Ito yung sinasabing four great realms of heart. They particularly emphasize that true love incorporates the rights of inheritance, equal status, and shared participation. So the ideal of the kingdom of heaven can be realized when people inherit the tradition of the true love of God and two parents through the marriage blessing and disperse that tradition throughout their societies, nation, and the world. So, ayan. Talagang laging ano yung true love na yan. So, what is true love? True love means living for the sake of others. Ito talaga yung pinaka-basic principle na dapat naka-apply sa atin in order for us to establish, ideal couple, ideal, family, and then fulfilling that three generations. Ito yon, And then once na fulfill ito, we have the right to inherit that one. And then magiging equal tayo kay God, yung equal status sinasabi niya, and shared participation. And according to the principle of creation, you do not create your partner. It is God who creates your partner. By the principle that a partner is created by his or her father and mother. Hence, by the principle of recreation, it is a law in the universe that God, your original father and mother, finds your partner. True parents understand the order of love based on this heavenly principle. Thus, your marriage can be arranged in this name of true parents under the protection of God. This is the view marriage in the Unification Church. So ayun, no? Dapat daw si God ang magbibigay ng partner natin. So means we have no right to choose and to look for our partner. This is really the original tradition that our Heavenly Parent really wanted to establish. Sana ni Adam and Eve from the very beginning, no? But this time, many times, many brothers and sisters, although they said they understand the principle, they want to follow two parents, they love two parents, but still, they end up, choosing their own partner, and you know, so many, uh, so many, brothers and sisters already, na nagawa ito, and they really, yung mga elder members who have gone through dito sa ganitong, um, nangyari sa life, they really, repented a lot, and as much as possible, yung mga anak nila ngayon, they don't want that what kung anong nangyari sa kanila will not be repeated by their own children. So, yeah, for us, para hindi rin tayo in the future na ma-accuse ng ating ancestors, ma-accuse ng ating future generation. So, let us really follow this original original law, tradition that our two parents had really established, in front of God and two parents. So as you all know, when God created Adam first. He was to be the son of God, and at the same time, God's substantial body. Later, God created Eve as the object partner of Adam, so that Adam and Eve could perfect the ideal of horizontal conjugal love. Eve was to be the daughter of God, and also as a bride, she was to perfect substantially the ideal of the horizontal love of God. So ayan, so Adam is originally God's body, and he has to, since God, cannot dominate this physical world. So through Adam and Eve, God can have this physical body para ma, ma, para ma-enjoy niya din itong physical world. And then Eve is she's not only as the female part of God, but at the same time, she is God's wife. And ayan, qualifications kung paano makareceive ng blessings. Two parents said that one should participate in the marriage blessing ceremony only after working long and hard to become eligible. Blessing candidates should be admired by all people, both in the heavenly world and in the earthly world. Accordingly, they must fulfill certain basic requirements, such as maintaining purity, number one, then attending divine principle workshops. So this time you're attending divine principle workshops, so you're fulfilling one of the requirements, right? And witnessing, this time, this is the 7.8 billion people na True Mother wanted to embrace, hindi niya yung kaya. So through us, so that's why we have to really have this confidence to bring more people to Heavenly Parent, to true parents, and let them receive the blessing as well. And then fasting, fasting is needed for us para ma-dominate natin ang ating sarili physically and make our mind stronger. And offering devotions like, mga bowing, prayer, ganon. And ano nga ito, yung mga service projects, trying to serve people. Yeah, ito yung mga importante. This time, I mean, in our time, I mean, most other elder here, ang iba talaga yung amin noon, you cannot receive the blessing or be much in just after 1 year, or after this time, even most especially yung mga medyo may ano na may edad na, i-consider that after 6 months they can be qualified to be matched and receive the blessing. But those younger ones, of course, you have to really, as much as possible, makapulfill kayo nito mga internal requirements na to, no? At least 1 year. If your leader, if you have your direct leader who's been guiding you, makita nila how much you have really developed internally, spiritually, and then you can be recommended for the matching and a blessing. No? Two parents have also said that a couple should commit to one another only after obtaining parental consent. So it's very important nga that sino ang parent natin dito? This is two parents. So unless two parents allowed us to have our partner, to get married, to be blessed, we cannot receive the blessing, right? So actually this time, not only this, it's very important, of course, for the second generation, parents are the ones who are really looking for the partner of their children. But for the first generation, since, most of our parents naman are not members, so, who represents our parents? It is our leader, who are, appointed by our beloved two parents. Kasi tayo dito ngayon, talagang original parents na, there are two parents. But then one of the, suggestion this time, more especially meron kasi mga nations na, kahit din dito sa atin, no, na they always depend on the, yung yung kailangan ng permission ng parents, physical parents, for them to receive the blessing. Kaya sometimes kahit naman match sila, kapag ayaw ng parents, ayaw din nila, no? They follow their physical parents. So this time, para maiwasan ito, they really encourage all the matching candidates, or all our single members, na i-restore natin first our parents. So that, anyway, there's a lot of mga blessing, itong HTM na ito. We can ask them to join the mga blessing natin na nasa HTM. And then for that, certain point na may educate natin sila about our movement. And then kapag medyo may understanding na sila about our movement, kahit hindi pa masyadong deep, at least, they will support us, or they will allow us to really join, this matching and blessing. And whoever yung bigay sa atin ni Heavenly Parents, I think they will really support us, diba? And yeah, we fallen people first need to go through a course to separate Satan from ourselves. We do this in order to restore ourselves in form to the spiritual level which Adam and Eve had reached before the fall, the top of the growth stage. So, ayan, dito nagkamali si Adam and Eve, right? Yan, they fell at the top level of the growth stage. So, on this foundation, we are to receive the Messiah and be reborn, and thereby removing our original sin and being fully restored to the original state of human beings before the fall. So ayan nga, since doon tayo nagkamali, so we have to go back there again kung saan doon nagkamali, no? And then receive the Messiah and receive the blessing. Actually, for us as first generation, the blessing means rebirth, not the original knowledge. So ayan ha. Separating ourselves from Satan, Kaya ito yung sinasabi sa atin na training sa life natin, yung sinasabi ni Father na we need to, you know, uh, do fundraising, witnessing, and all these necessary conditions, because this is the way wherein we can really separate ourselves from Satan. And then after that, kapag okay na, yan, we can receive the blessing, and then we will be forgiven of our original sin. And ayan, mako-connect na tayo sa lineage ni two parents. And then, finally, by following the Messiah, we should continue our growth to maturity, where we can fulfill the purpose of creation. And after the blessing, we still, the more we have to follow completely, our two parents. Sometimes others, when they receive the blessing, they thought that they can just decide on their own. Actually, the more, since you are already connected to Heavenly Parent, to two parents lineage, the more you have to embody this absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. Dapat yan talaga ang pinapractice na natin sa life natin. And here, this is for the second generation, meron ba second generation dito? So for the second generation, ito kasi yung kanilang blessing process. Although they undergo the same training as the first generation, but the meaning of their training is not an indemnity course, but this is sincere devotion or Jongsong. This is where they can understand God's heart. Okay sana kung walang fall, everybody is happy and automatic na talagang guided sila ng parents nila, to the blessing. But this time, because of the environment, they need to really understand God's heart. And without this kind of training sa ating mga second generation, it would be difficult for them to really overcome yung mga challenges nila sa kanilang, blessed life in the future. That's why we strongly encourage all the second generation to undergo training. So the matching of couples. So two parents first gave the marriage blessing on April 16, 1960. When they blessed three couples, as they continued to march and bless more couples, they always took into consideration not only the individuals and their families, but also the descendants who would be born from the couples they matched. Two parents matched couples transcending nationalities, races, and religions, and sometimes even matched couples by photograph. So, ayan, nung nagsimula na sila ng blessing, and then yun nagsimula yung 3 couples, and then 12 couples, 36 couples, 72 couples, and now dito na nga tayo. Millions of couples already had received the blessing. Father said, I have matched many people, taking responsibility for other people's lives in a serious matter. When I look at people, I can identify what talent they have and what type of person they are. That woman is fated to be a widow. That man is fated to die young. I even know this sort of thing. When I'm doing this, I am physically on earth, but I switch into spiritual high alert and extend my antenna. I enter a spiritual state in which I can see people's ancestry from a high vantage point. When I am in this state of mind, there are no mistakes in the choices I make. However, the matching candidates do not always listen to me. One time, I had to match a young man 13 times. Why should I help him get married if he does not like the woman I suggest? The point is that I do everything I can. It is because it is better for him if I match him than if he does it on his own. For the sake of giving the marriage blessing now that I am here on earth, I have been offering complete devotion and have established all the necessary conditions. Kaya nga, of course, true father had the absolute matching. So this time we are in different era. So two parents are not with us, cannot be with us, um, in our lifetime always, and that's why ipinamana talaga nila sa atin, bequeath all this authority to the leaders for the first generation and for the second generation, of course, to their parents. But then ito naman talaga yung original tradition, right? Parents sana. And so yan, since hindi tayo true parents, sabi ni Father dito, I enter a spiritual state in which I can see people's ancestry from a high vantage point. And when I am this state of mind, there are no mistakes in the choices I make. Kaya nga siya absolute matching kasi yung 200 behind and 200 generations ahead of us, kita yan, Father. But tayo, that's why very, very important for us, to really make a condition, because this era where we are now, because of the advancement of the providence, ano ito, 70% sa leaders and elders, and then 30% sa mga candidates. Sa amin nun, wala eh. So yeah, for that, if the leader and the candidate are united and really make a very good condition, and then this matching is almost equivalent to the match that our two parents had been conducting in the early days, kasi hindi naman talaga, kaya nga, even though we are not confident, but Father said, since God is working through me, so of course he is also working to each and every one of us. So God also will work to our leaders, God also will work to our parents. Kaya nga, very, very important itong mga internal conditions and, unity between the candidate and the elder, the leader, and the parents. So candidates' attitude and heart in the matching process. Let's say there is a good-looking person among the blessing candidate. He or she might look splendid on the outside, but what is important is whether or not that person has the value to exist in the future in front of the will of God. That is the primary question for the partner whom that person meets. So ayan, no? So marriage blessing rituals. So kung halimbawa match na kayo, And then ito naman, blessing, engagement, holy wine, and indemnity stick ceremonies. So this is for the first generation. The marriage blessing includes a series of restorational rituals which symbolically indemnify the process of the fall. Through rituals such as the engagement ceremony, the holy wine ceremony, and the blessing ceremony, and the indemnity stick ceremony, one goes through the process of rebirth as a child of God. The engagement ceremony is the ritual that restores us to the position of Adam and Eve being engaged before the fall. So yun ang engagement ceremony. Actually, Adam and Eve fell at the period of their engagement. They are already engaged. Already, they know, no? Sabi naman talaga ni God sa kanila, sila yon. But only Heavenly Parents said, don't eat the fruit kasi hindi pa yun yung right time for them, no? So, the Holy One ceremony eradicates original sin and changes Satan's lineage to God's lineage. Ayun, once na magkaroon na ng engagement ceremony, and then when the kapag dumating na ang blessing, kasi in our time, you know, right after the matching, you know, the next event on the same day, you know, we can receive the holy wine and the blessing ceremony. So this time, you know, of course, different era na rin talaga ngayon, no? So we have first, you know, medyo nauuna-una yung yung blessing ceremony. I mean, commitment ceremony, engagement ceremony, and then they have to wait kung kailan yung blessing ceremony, and then they can join. And then this time kasi also, you know, sa engagements, before you get engaged, meron pa mga communication period, you know, 4 to 7 months. So in our time, wala na talaga yan. Right after, before, I remember they asked us to, yeah, there is a blessing, and then you have to go to Korea. Personally, father is there and match you, you know, and then after that, you know, for a few hours, because I remember in our time, we arrived Korea. The blessing is January 12, and you know, we arrived Korea January 11, 10 o'clock p.m. And then after that, you know, last matching to father, and until 5 o'clock, you know, nagmamatch siya, 5 o'clock a.m. ng January 12. And then 10 o'clock on that morning also is the blessing. So ganun yung time noon, you know. So the blessing ceremony is the ritual of vowing to fulfill one's responsibility as a blessed couple by inheriting two parents' victorious realm. The indemnity stick ceremony is a ritual that symbolically makes restitution for the misuse of the lower parts of the body during the fall. So ito sa first generation, ito second generation, they don't have indemnity stick ceremony. And actually, this time, dapat wala na rin holy wine ang second generation. Ang meaning kasi ngayon ng holy wine nila is to enter into a Chunibuk era. Yun ang meaning ng holy wine. Hindi katulad ng first gen. Once we receive the holy wine means forgiveness of our original sin, you know. So the ceremony entails the husband and wife striking each other on the buttocks 3 times with a stick, after which the couple makes a clean new start together. After the blessing ceremony, the blessing vows and proclamation, and then there naman itong indemnity stick ceremony in order for them to indemnify yung pagkakamali dito sa lower parts, and then they can make a clean new start together. So, yeah, ito yung first gen at second gen na blessing process. Okay, so first gen is ayan, my matching, my holy wine ceremony, my blessing, indemnity stick, or my 40-day separation. Not only 40 days, actually, usually, most especially sa mga young couples, they, you know, inaabot pa ng 3.5 years or 4, like that, no? And then, after that, there is a benediction before starting the 3-day ceremony. Yeah. And then after converting lineage, begin life of blessed family. So for the second generation, yan, imamatch lang ng parents, and then blessing na, you know, and then start as blessed family. So ganyan lang sila. Although this time, they are really in, talagang they really asked to have this 40 days Jongsong condition after the blessing, and then can start family. Actually, they can start right after the 40 days. But most of the second gen naman natin, yung mga bata pa, they tend to, you know, may mga gusto pang magtapos ng kanilang studies, or they want to, know more each other. They want to adjust more sa bawat isa, kaya medyo tumatagal din yung kanyang, mahaba din yung kanilang before starting a family. And then yung dito is 3-day ceremony sa kanila is what we call it first night. So the second generation, blessing and responsibility. So the first marriage blessing ceremony of second generation members, children of blessed families, was for 36 couples and was held at the Little Angels Hall in Seoul on April 12, 1986. On that day, two parents told the participants, as at this point in time, when a new history is about to unfold, you are not marrying just for yourselves. Instead, you are getting married to advocate a great revolution in the unificationist family. You should understand this clearly. Therefore, you should take part in this ceremony, bearing the weight of the all-important mission to create a new chapter in history. So, ayan. And then the father said, two parents are the root of the second generation blessed families. Therefore, you have to hold my words in higher regard than those of anyone else, even those of your own family members. So actually, our second generation, even as parents, always telling us, fathers, telling us that that is not your children, that is my children, it's God's children. That's why we have to raise up our second generation in God's standard. Hindi pwede natin sa sarili nating way. And by attending to parents, you inherit the tradition that will bring forth a God-centered nation and a God-centered world in heaven and on earth. Your family is the first doorway. It is like a tree whose leaves and branches are to connect vertically the traditions of heaven, the world, and the nation. Accordingly, your family is the horizontal representative of heaven, the world, and the nation. And therefore, you have to own the traditions of the nation, the world, and the kingdom of heaven. This has to be the mainstream of your thinking. So as two individuals, you become one and make a beginning as a new clan, separated from the history of Satan's world. So ayan, ito yung mga second generation. Kaya really at this time, as you know, we will be having this Hyojong Youth Blessing Festival, and I hope that all of you registered yourself already. Do you? Did you? So that will be on March 27, this coming Saturday. So once more, our two mother is showing us, he's really, continuously, even though this already, this is really our job actually. We as, blessed families and, tayong mga elders and leaders, this is really our responsibility to guide our single candidates, single members to the blessing. But then, True Mother is really again showing us kasi we are very slow, and True Mother is, in a worldwide scale, gathering these young people now more and more. True Mother is emphasizing the importance of the single candidates, first gen and second gen. Kasi nga ito yung you're passing through, this original blessing tradition, starting as engaged couples, and then yeah, receive the blessing, holy wine blessing, and then all this, blessing process. So that's why we have to. I felt like I'm so repentful, in my side that only few are receiving the blessing. A lot of young people um, who are every day, dominate the Satan, falling every day. And only few, can undergoes the process and receive the blessing. If you can imagine how many young people we had here in the Philippines and ilan lang kayo, no? So this is really napaka-sakit, in the heart of God and to parents that every day a lot of people are falling, talagang Satan still, even though we can say that already the foundation is being laid by our two parents, but still a lot of people out there, don't understand, our two parents, don't understand itong value ng blessing na ito talaga yung salvation natin. Kaya for you, brothers and sisters. I hope that you will continue to, invite people, bring them, let them be like you or more than like you in attending and understanding, our beloved two parents. And finally, receiving the blessing. So I think this is all that I can share with you this evening. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much po, Tita Dulce Vaya, for that wonderful lecture. Please give a hand, brothers and sisters. So, for that, so we prepare already, brothers and sisters, to receive the blessings. Handa na ba kayo, brothers and sisters? So, at this juncture, may ask from the participants to give some reflections. Volunteer po. Who wants to volunteer from the participants? Okay. Wala. 3 to 1. Tita, would you like to to choose from the participants?
Ako, so dito ha, yung malapit sa akin dito sa screen. Sino itong si Vince?
Vince. Okay. Please welcome, Kuya Vince. Welcome.
Kamute ka.
Good evening po, Heavenly Parents, true parents,
From,
elders, lecturers,
ano,
brothers and sisters. Good evening
ano
po.
ko, hindi ko marinig.
So, naririnig po ba?
Yes. Yes
Yes.
po, Kuya.
So, my reflection for the novel is really incredible and really very amazing po because it is transcending to different races, religion, and I can imagine po on how people will unite even though they have different religions, races, and ano po, races and different beliefs and cultures. Parang one family under God po, like that, and I can't wait to see these people in the future po to be the models for to really ano po parang be the ano tawag dun? Be the embodiment of unity po between even though you have different religions, races, and to really ano po also I'm really preparing my heart po and as what Kuya Herwin said earlier po really not thinking of things that like expecting when I receive when I am going to receive my spouse po. So uh, s- also I am really doing my best po to participate in the activities in our organization po, like family blessing. Uh, Also, I'm really encouraging myself to witness some people because I don't have really the confidence to approach people po kasi nahihiya pa ako paminsan-minsan po. Then so yeah, yun po, really encouraging myself and um, also encourage people to join this divine principle training so that I could um, learn them and so that they could join um, the family blessing. And also ano din po, I'm really I'm changing my ways po, my point of view between different religions po, not to think not to persecute them po in what they are doing po, and also really um having a bond with them po, creating a bond with them so that we could really embrace them and to really to um, embrace them and really convince them to join the movement po. So I think that's all lang po. So thank you so much po.
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Vince, for that reflection. So, as what Kuya Vince says, that he needs to prepare himself to receive the blessing. Also, remind us to invite also for the participants who could be able to really understand, especially the value of the blessings. So, another one po, if you have some reflections, brothers and sisters, tita, sino pa po? From the
Hmm,
participants po.
ito nakagalak si Tab eh.
Si Sir Randy po.
Okay. Si ano na lang, si Magsipok Margie.
Yes, please help me to welcome Ate Margie. Please give a hand, brothers and sisters. Ate Margie, welcome.
Dati, narinig ko.
Yes po.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, Ate Dulcie. And then good evening, elders, brothers, and sisters.
Hmm.
So way back, uh, I share something lang po. Way back 2017 po, itong word na matching po is na-introduce sa akin. But without knowing the principle po. So, sinabi ko noon is, ano ba yung matching? Kasi sumali po ako sa movement na nakilala ko yung YF Youth Fed, kumbaga yun po. Yung Youth Fed kasi one time nakatira sila doon sa naging spiritual parent ko ngayon na sila Kuya Julie. So, Kuya Julie introduced me matching po. Pero sabi ko, kung ano po ba yun? Question mark po yun sa sa isipan ko po. So later on, step by step process, sabi niya, um, meron siyang kumbaga prepare sa akin. So I said yes without knowing. So yun po, I give up my uh, my teaching for the sake na malaman po yung ano talaga itong movement na to. So encourage po ako sa word na seminar kasi during my high school, college days, hindi po ako nakaano ng seminar eh. So, until naging national leadership training siya, seminar. So, sabi ko, wow, interested ako. So, yun po, yun doon po nagsimula yung journey ko until such time po na na-introduce na po sa akin yung divine principle until sa blessing po. So, doon ko nalaman po yung word na matching. So, ganito pala yun. So, meron po ba talaga akong chance na magkaroon ng tinatawag na ano yan, ideal family po. Kasi sa po differences sa na sa family ng nakita ko doon sa naging member ng movement at the same time po sa hindi pa member ng movement. So may difference po talaga yung family. So one time po kasi is may nakita po tinatirahan po kami na blessed family. Inaklan ata yon during our FR. Sabi ko, wow, ang ganda ng ang ganda ng relationship nila. So, na-encourage yung self ko na makareceive talaga ng blessings. But, twice po ako na-failed kasi po is last year po ako join nag-process po ako ng sa matching po. And the same time po isa lang yung na-failed ko is yung medical clearance po. So hindi pa po talaga yung may health issue po kasi ako, kaya yun po yung pinaprocess ko ngayon. So sa sinasabi po na preparation sa prepare na ba yung self ko, masasabi ko po na ready na po, pero yung health ko po yung hindi po ready. So by God's time, by true parents time po na bibigay sa atin later po. Siguro po matatanggap ko na po yun. So, thank you so much po, ate, kasi sa lecture ngayon, kumbaga na-remind naman po ulit yung mind ko na yung health issues, hindi pa po talaga yung hindrance para ma-receive yung blessing ni the parents. So, yun po. Thank you so much po.
Yeah. Sige lang. Darating ang right person for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much po, Ate Margie, for your reflections. So, actually, Kuya, Ate Margie is from the South Cotabato. Tama po ba, Ate Margie? South Cotabato din. Yeah. I know her.
Kudarat po, ate.
Yeah. South Cotabato. So, yun yun siya. Then, last one. Last one po, reflections. Ate, last po, sino pong gusto niyo po? From the participant.
Ikaw muna na ang magpili ngayon.
Okay. May brother na po ba nagbigay? Ay, okay. Kuya Vince. Okay. Ate Christinette. Please help me to welcome Ate Christinette. Gibahan.
So, good evening, heavenly parents. Good evening, true parents. Good evening, Ma'am Dulce. Good evening, Ate Munins, lecturers, elders, brothers, and sisters. Um, my reflection po, according to the topic tonight po is about the blessing. Honestly po, when I first heard, yes, the word matching po, it I have so many questions on it because yes, in being selfish, I also why is that they are the one who will um, give us the things that we didn't need it. Ganon po na thoughts. But when I really know and understand what is the meaning of matching, it slaps me to the reality po na I am so much I think so much for myself only, that even not thinking the heart of heavenly parents and true parents who lead the way on giving us the sacrificial indemnity on how humanity could save po, that Jesus didn't do because he was crucified. And for me po, when I realized it and seeing to my elders here in the Bowl Center po, I realized that matching is the best. Matching and the blessing is the best gift from God. That nobody could give you that happiness that you deserve po. The, even though it's not the classic or it's not the norms that we see in our community right now, but if ever all the people will really understand and know this kind of blessing, I hope that that this time po will really give me this chance to share it to them what is this movement and this true parents legacy is all about. And yes po, according to my elders here is blessing is um, one of or matching being an ideal person is um, hard to do po kasi yes, we have here in the fallen world and we have to separate ourselves to Satan so that we are the ideal person who will receive the second blessing. And for me po, it is one of my reason why is that I always finding myself or staying myself here in the center and encouraging other to be a full time so that they really understand what was traditions and matching and also the blessings all about, so that if they have questions, they have doubts on what they do or what the movement all about, the here in the center will also give them the guidance, and especially in attending hondoke, reading books of father, it is one of the ways po talaga to really understand this kind of this kind of and for me po, my experience in yes at in being stuck in the um, family blessing, witnessing the lectures of divine principle, it gives me the motivation and realization to uh, how could I share it to young, especially to the young people nowadays po, kasi they really know is the norms only in the society, that everyone is being teenage mom or teenage parents is it's just a norms for us that never know the divine principle and never know what was the first ancestors did, why they give so much pain to our heavenly parents. And these divine principles that I really motivated to really know deeply is one of the reason why one of my K to really give to my future or give to the future descendants po that really wanted the future heroes that really wanted to realize what this what is our position that our first ancestors failed po. So and always my elders here in Bohol really saying that about the blessing, don't decline or wag mong anong tawag sa Tagalog nun, parang kung ano yung ibibigay, wag kang com- complain or just receive it, because heavenly parents and true parents never give you the best blessing that you are not capable to be receive it. So yun lamang po, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much po, Ate Christine, for your reflections. So, um, we reminded that brothers and sisters, we should prepare ourselves, especially receiving the matching and blessing. Because of that, we need to really uh, do a lot of training so that we could be able to ano the best blessing that we should receive. So yun yung siya, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much po at this moment po. Let's proceed for our next um, program po. Let's help me to welcome our very own Kuya Julius to give some life testimony. So please give a hand, brothers and sisters. Let's welcome Kuya Julius Escleto.
Hello, good evening,
Good evening
brothers and
po.
sisters. Good evening, Ate Dulce, lecturers. This evening, I was given an opportunity to give testimony with regards to, in particular, my blessing. So I think no need to introduce myself. You know me already. So I was blessed in 1992. That was August 25 to a Japanese named Tami Kuno. So we belong to the 30,000 couples, and I met her in Korea at that time. So at first, I find her uh, very expressive and also straightforward. So when I was with her, also I became like that also, expressive. So we started our family in 1996, and now we have two kids, all boys, one in college and one in senior high. So I met the movement in 1990, but before that, actually I made a condition because I met an accident. I was hit by a bus. So from that time on, I have this feeling and question because every time my friends saw me, I was in crutches for 2 weeks because of that uh, bus accident. Uh, they told me you have given a second life. So that's really um, in my mind. I have this question: what is really my purpose in life? So I'm searching the Bible, also looking for friends who could give me answers with that. And finally, I realized I have to make some changes in my life. So December 31, before New Year, I made New Year's resolution. So uh, I quit smoking, drinking, my friends, because I like music. So uh, especially summer, every night we have this jamming session with my music inclined friends. So when we were having that jamming, there is wine, cigarettes, Mary Jane, like that. So I made really a determination to quit that vices coming New Year. So I really pushed myself. Then I did it. Then January of that year, I met the movement through Wonwado. So we went to our classroom. So in a male-dominated classroom, I'm the only one who is responsive to their invitation. So because I really struck on their pliers, mind and body unity centered on God, and that becomes ideal ideal person. So that's the first that drives me to even go to the center and have this lecture and the research history. So knowing the value of the blessing and its significance, and also knowing our true parents is my first blessing, because that's the first thing that in the first place I'm longing. What is really the purpose in my life after that accident? So to receive the blessing, I told myself I need to become worthy and be qualified in receiving the blessing. So I I really also push myself to do like fundraising. I have witness with that, but because of my conviction, I became um, top fundraiser. Also witnessing, I have also witnessed with that, but I also overcame uh, that area. So I I realized because in those courses, we call that formula course, that you could really become flexible in preparation to the blessing, because you don't know the nature, or you don't know your wife, her nature, uh, whatever. But through doing fundraising, witnessing, you can encounter different types of people, character of people. And because we have this principle that we could really be able to forgive, be able to love them. And from that training, that whatever partner God would choose for you, you have already flexible on that, because you have this undergone this training that you encounter people of extreme natures that you love, you try to love and understand. So it is also uh, the foundation that your marriage will survive when you start your family, because having that foundation, that you could stand on your own, whatever situation, either financially if you are trained in fundraising and also witnessing in anything, you can survive. So um, I appreciate those trainings, fundraising, witnessing, center life, that you could really use in your family life. And that also uh, our 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 also first preparation. That is our preparation for receiving the Messiah, separating ourselves from Satan, based on these two foundations: foundation of faith, so keeping strictly on God's commandment, so especially purity. So before we have this reverence lecture, don't look, don't think, don't touch. So really, with regards to that area, we have to really uh, purify ourselves in preparation to the blessing, and not only in the blessing, after the blessing, fidelity also, just between husband and wife. And yeah, this fasting also condition, because it really dominates your bodily desires. And actually, before I have struggled with fasting, like start with uh, 40 hours, then 7 days. I really did. Uh, Actually, I did three times in 7 days fasting. So these are good preparations for before receiving the blessing. And as what I've said, we can use also this one in our family life. So we have we have to understand the value of the blessing and its significance. It is because knowing our true parents and knowing that only true parents could um, remove our original sin, and that from this blessing that could transform our fallen lineage into children of God's direct lineage. So we have this we have this understanding already the value of this blessing, and we have to prepare ourselves that we could be able to become worthy in receiving the blessing. So this is the lecture is very important as we prepare for the blessing. So that's really good for us to really seriously make uh, internal preparations for the blessing. And also, as we know, after the blessing, that's not the end of it. So we have to do our part. That's our responsibility. By following the Messiah, then we should continue our um, um, work towards maturity. Then we can fulfill the purpose of creation. Also, one thing also um, that also drives me to really keep keep on track is that the rewards our rewards is eternal life in the next life. So if we live here only for example 100 years, but the reward of doing this is eternal life in eternal happiness in heaven. And also if I we have this understanding also that it is for our descendants, our marriage, not not the way that we want our partners to be, but what we need for our descendants. So true parents is matching us for example these two opposite types of person, summer type and winter type, then joined in oneness. Then their good points, their children will inherit their good points. And also, just like they are all well-rounded person, because there is different types of person becoming one. So that's the really the good side value of the blessing, having received the blessing of our true parents. So we have we have to think uh, on this um, on this perspective, and more importantly, we know that the blessing is rebirth, removal of our original sin, and change of blood lineage, and that's really the hope of humankind that desires even from the beginning of human history, the desire of everyone to really attain that uh, level of changes from foreign lineage into God's direct lineage. And we are fortunate in this era that we have that in our true parents. And I'm so fortunate that also I was one of being blessed by our true parents. So I'm encouraging everyone to also uh, make your preparations, and I know that that's also you're also doing your best to also be worthy in receiving the blessing from our true parents. I think that's all I can share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Julius, for your life testimony. So, as what Kuya Julius says, that, yeah, need to undergo the training, a lot of trainings, right? Kasi more trainings, more blessings to come. So, yun yun siya, brothers and sisters. Okay. Thank you so much once again. That's what Kuya Ray says, that be pure in heart and mind. So, yun siya. Then, let's continue. Let's proceed for the exam. Prepare na po ba kayo, brothers and sisters? So, the exam. Okay. Anyway pala, Ate Dose is exit earlier because she has a meeting. So, we're very lucky because we have Ate Dose to share, especially the significance of the blessing. So, yun siya. Then, let me to share my screen. We have just 30 minutes to answer. Okay. Ouch. Amen. Hindi ko siya bukas. Asa na yun? Okay. Okay. Ganun pala. Okay, the following exams. Just 30 minutes. Then, please send it to my messenger. Okay. Then, okay. Your 30 minutes begins now. Begins from now. Black brothers and sisters.
Hindi nakita yung ano.
Hindi na kita? Ha? Wait.
Pa yung na-click mo. Pa yung na-click mo.
Hindi, ito na yun pa. Wait lang. Wala? Wait.
Click mo yung,
Yan. Nakikita na?
yan.
Iba pa rin kanina, sorry. Okay. Okay. It's 9:21, so we would finish 9:51. Okay, 15 minutes left. Next. Based on this. 10 minutes left, brothers and sisters. 4 minutes left, brothers and sisters. Okay, thank you so much po, brothers and sisters. Please open your camera po. Tapos na po ba lahat? So, yan, please send your answers to my messenger. Narinig po ba? Okay, we have 8 minutes left. 9:52, but we start we started late, so we need to extend 10 minutes because this brothers and sisters, this is your last chance to give reflections because next meeting your graduation. So yan, sa hindi po nakapag-reflect kanina about sa blessing. So sino yung mag first mag-volunteer na reflection? Ate Anna May, ikaw yung hands, raise hand.
Hindi po.
Okay, please help me to welcome Ate Anna May, brothers and sisters.
honest, I'm not ready. So, but sorry po.
Okay. Okay. If oh, okay. Okay, mababalik lang po tayo kay Ate Ana May. First, from the brothers muna tayo. May request. Okay, alam mo na kung sino. Last brothers. So, plus up na to welcome, Kuya Patrick, brothers and sisters.
Good evening po, elders, brothers and sisters. So, for my reflection for this, for the lecture about the blessing, then I I really realized uh, even how hard I can work and even how much I invest for the movement for the providence kanang seeing on what I am doing now kanang still I have been so unfilial to our heavenly parent with with the sins that I have committed in the past, and still now that I have received the principle, I also have learned what truly God's heart is. I still commit mistakes, then fail to really reach God's standard. Then I can really say that kanang I can never attain that kanang worthiness to receive the second blessing. So that is why kanang because of true parents kanang huh? That is why because of true parents and efforts, their investment, we are able to receive the second blessing. So thinking about that, kanang I really will have this uh, kanang a lifetime of debt, the feeling that I am indebted to our true parents because they have given me this chance to really be able to change my blood lineage. Because without our true parents, I will never be worthy to receive the second blessing. And I am so really grateful because I meet the movement. Then it it is kanang koan not easy to really accept kanang someone you will be uh someone you will be meeting for the first time, or someone you are not really kanang kuan bitaw, like you have known for a long time to be your lifetime partner, eternal partner. But because kanang as kanang we practice true love, I kon knowing that true love does not discriminate or choose to whom you will love. It is also loving the unlovable. So kanang we I must really kanang accept and love the future spouse that God will be giving me. And also the tradition of matching is kanang made by our true parents. Then by following true parents tradition, it is like uniting with them, following them. Then also I realized that we also have known that kanang only by following true parents, the Messiah, we can receive restoration. So it is also a way of restoring ourselves only by receiving the second blessing. So really, even though I will never be worthy, but I must really have this second blessing. So that would be all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much po, Kuya Patrick, for your heart-filled reflections. And then, Yan, preparation of the blessing. Next, um, I would like to ask pa, Ate Juna May. Okay na po ba kayo? Please help me to welcome Ate Juna May, brothers and sisters.
My reflection for um, about the blessings po kasi I remember um, it was um, naririnig po ba?
Yes po.
So about the
Medyo
blessing,
mahina, medyo mahina lang.
tackled tonight, tackled tonight, first time po na I hear the blessing about the matching, I was so curious po about it because um, I don't know what for, but I'm just so curious. And now, I mean, today, it was elaborated to me, the certain requirements and conditions. And at first po kasi, madami na po siyang issue here in my environment. And it is, they saw this blessing po as a fixed knowledge. I know po na siguro po they thinking these things na our freedom, which is because someone is voided po, but I do hope na ma-realize ko nila why we keep this track and why we um I mean fight for this way of blessing, and that knowing these requirements made me feel so much I mean I don't know if I'm prepared or what, but um I when I read something to kasi that the candidate or the blessing candidate should be admired by all people both in heavenly world and earthly world. I can't imagine if I can certainly fulfill, but I am willingly want to fulfill it, and I want to claim po kasi that I can, so that I don't have the certain options that can make me have in another options that I can put. So I want to claim it, though I know it's hard and difficult to overcome this um, challenges and difficulties. But I want to promote pure love. I mean purity. Um, I mean marriage before sex. So with this love, with this blessing, I am able to understand why um, blessings in this matching is very important due to the human fund po. And before din po kasi, Ate Lilina enlightened me so much po. Because at first, I imagined that blessings or matching is a way, I mean, in my own perspective po kasi dati, I must attain first my individual perfection before I go to that thing. And then Ate Lina sincerely or um, said to me po na um, you cannot attain perfection in your own if you don't have this blessing po, because a woman can only be completed if he has a man to complete both characteristics. So dun po parang it hit me po na oh, I need this blessing pala to separate my original sin and be perfect as an individual. So Yun po. Thank you po.
Yes, thank you so much po, Ate Janami. Ate Janami, ilang taon ka na sa movement?
Um, hindi po
Hindi, hindi clear. Hindi siya.
hello po, hello po.
Yes.
Narinig po.
Opo, okay na siya.
Last, last October po, kaabang ko po si Brother Patrick.
Okay. Clear pala batch. Okay, anyway, thank you so much po. So, another one, may I call Ate Josephine to give reflections for tonight's topic. Let's help me to welcome brothers Ate Josephine. Please give a hand, brothers and sisters.
Good evening, everyone. My reflection today is yung blessing is yun yung, para maitama yung pag-fall ni Adam and Eve, ma-correct yung dapat i-correct, um, para, mm, yan na, para ma-correct yung pagka-fall. Thank you.
Ay. Okay,
Miss
thank you.
Josephine, last na natin to pagkikita.
Apo. Sinorkat ko na po eh.
Hindi.
Po.
Gusto ko sanang tanungin, how do you think you are now prepared to receive a match and receive the blessing?
Maybe po, cause napag-aralan ko naman na yung
Alam ko wala akong
DP,
Lego.
nababasa ko
Si
yung
Ba.
about sa DP. Siguro naiintindihan ko yung aim ni True Father. That's why baka pwede na ako. Thank you.
Sige, Miss Josephine, alam mo naman you're my favorite. So, good luck po sa matching and sa matching and blessing application po ninyo.
Thank you. Sana po. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. May additional po ba kayo, Kuya Herwin, for Ate Josephine?
Ano daw?
I mean, si Kuya Herwin po, if may additional nga question po para kay Ate Josephine.
Okay. Sige.
Wala na, wala.
Okay, thank you so much po. Last one po, may call Ate Anna May. Please give a hand, brothers and sisters.
Good evening po, brothers and sisters. Wala kanina, hindi na po talaga hindi po. So reflections po for this night about the blessing and the matching. At first po, yung DP, 7-day DP po namin, doon ko po narinig yung something about matching, something about matching and blessing po. And then I was curious at that time. Then, if something's bothering about me po, yung small detail about it po, hindi po totally detailed about matching. But I was curious that time po, and I was, um, mas lalo ko po gustong malaman po yung about yung matching and the blessings po. And po, after months with the movement, um, I can say that um, I can say that marami pa po palang requirements para ma-achieve yung second blessing po. And it's not easy for me po, but still, I want to rather myself to receive the second blessing for it's a compliance po to being God. And yes, it may be hard, but for now and for God and for the I'm sure the yeah for yeah for the cabinet law I will ready myself no matter what and fully uphold um the teachings that have been taught to us by our two parents po. And that should be all po. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much po, Ate Ana May, for your reflections. For some additional po, Kuya Julius, do you have some additional po to give before we close this evening? Kuya Julius. Okay. May I call on Kuya Herwin for some additional announcement. Some announcement for this workshop.
Okay, next meeting, Monday, is your graduation. Yun yung valedictorian. Okay, so bali, we have guests. Sana, ano, we'll be inviting our national DBC, yung national leader natin para makapag salita siya during your graduation kasi we invited yes always the national leader every time sa every graduation. So be there on time and same time 7:30 and ano mo tama ayun uh, I think maybe some of you will give reflection oral reflection during that day reflection for the overall 21 days kung how the 21 days change your mindset and it would how 21 days yung paano siya magbago sa the next level of your life and so yun depende na sa inyo kung ano-ano yung mga realization nyo within this 21 yun some of you will give reflection we cannot give all we cannot ask everybody to give kasi masyadong mahaba yung time. Don't forget your if you were not able yet pay your registration send to the BFB at the Jenny at the Jenny. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Yes, thank you so much po Kuya Herwin for your announcement. Then ano pa gani? Okay, next. Wait lang. Okay. It's already 10:13. Ano gani after? Nalimutan ko. Wait lang, nablangko ako. Um, okay, let's have our closing prayer. May I call Ate Relina to lead the closing prayer?
Please join me in prayer. Good evening, our most loving Heavenly Parent, and true parents of heaven, earth, and mankind. Father, we have just completed the 20th day of this batch, and then we are now looking forward, Heavenly Father, for their graduation. Thank you for all those 20, for all these 20 days that we have learned your words, and that uh, this would, we hope, Heavenly Father, that these words that we have learned, this inspiration that we have learned together, especially the participants, will help them prepare themselves in their journey for the matching and also the blessing. Father, uh, we are also looking forward, Heavenly Father, that we can also together, uh, we can expand this 20 online 21 days divine lecture principal lecture series to other blessing uh, eh, matching and blessing candidates so that Heavenly Father, they would be able to uh, truly understand the importance of knowing the divine principle and understanding more your heart and the and doing our portions of responsibility and most of all Heavenly Father on how we can truly uh, receive the blessing so that we are able to ask for the removal of our sins of the original sin, Heavenly Father, so that we can continue our journey to our growth and perfect ourselves as you have um, planned during the creation, or we as you have planned, so that we can fulfill the ideal of the creation, and together you and I can live happily together as any parents and establish the um, kingdom of heaven here on earth, or that Heavenly Father, we pray this and report this in the names of Ray and Belino Dolendo, Santaldes family. Achu.
Aju. Yes, Aju, brothers and sisters. Okay, last one. Please open your, ano. Thank you so much pala, Ate Relina. Please open your cameras, brothers and sisters. Let's have our last photo. Ate Aname. Para si Sir Randy. Okay? Kasi hindi ko na-record. Okay, let's have our Vision 2027. Last one, brothers and sisters. Vision 2027. Sungni, sungni, sungni. Yes, thank you so much po. Ano pala, brothers and sisters, last announcement, yung exam nyo po, we will receive until 12 midnight. So please submit on or before the time. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night once again.
Good night po. Thank you so much.
Good night
Good
po. Thank you
night,
so
everyone.
Thank you so much, Kuya Vince,
Night
Kuya
po.
Patrick,
Thank you po. Ma'am Relina,
Christinette,
bye!
Ate Ana
Good
May,
night,
Ate
Ate
Jana May,
Monens.
and good
Good
night,
luck sa
Ate
matching and
Josephine.
blessing.
Ah?
See you next time po.
See you next time. Bye everyone. Please,
Isa na?
sa mga hindi pa po nakapag-submit ng ng blessing, nakapag-register ng Yujong Blessing Festival, please make time po. Ano po siya? Importante po siya para sa po natin number. Much everyone and good night. Thank you, Ate Kami, and then Kuya Jinggoy sa YouTube na naka-live sila.
Thank
Naguta.
you, Miss Christine. Thank you, Mr. Beans. Thank you
Thank you
lahat.
din
Iba.
po.
Thank you po. Good night, Ate Monens.
Ate Manen.
Thank you.
Hindi ko na naman nagawa yung ano ko.
Sige na, I send you na po later. Bye everyone!
Bye po.
Ayun, gawin mo ako. Thank you so much po, Kuya Ray, Ate Relina, Sir
Good
Randy,
night.
Christinette, and then Kuya Vince. Bye!
Good luck sa mga matching
Adyo
and
po.
blessing.
Adyo. Adyo, Kuya Vince. Bye everyone!